Hi Virgo and Virgo Rising, here is your horoscope for July 2025. I'm Astrologer Joseph Anthony. All right, we have a very strange month ahead. And what I mean by that is we are going to have 4 planets in retrograde, including your ruler, Mercury, right there in Leo. And the other 2 that are going to go retrograde is Neptune and Saturn in the 8th house of psychological well-being. And we already have Pluto already retrograde in the 6th house of health and service. So this is a weird energy that's coming in that's going to affect you. So if you're a Virgo rising or a Virgo sun sign, you may be feeling this very strongly. There could be a confusing time here, like I'm not sure what I'm doing, where I'm going, and what's happening to me, that kind of mindset. And again, this is a very general overview based on tropical whole house system. It's very generic because your birthday is different. Everyone's birthday under the sign is different, and everyone's birth chart is different. So again, I have to just use the general sun sign reading here. But Mars is starting off in Virgo. So you're absolutely looking at yourself. You're motivated, your energy is up, or you have nervous energy that is motivating you to move forward. The Sun and Jupiter are now in the 11th house, so you're feeling a little extra friendly. You're wanting to reach out. You're wanting to change. You're looking at the future with a different perspective. A lot of it could pertain to the home or moving or possibly making plans to travel. This is absolutely on the agenda here with this energy, with the Sun and Jupiter in the 11th house. Now, Jupiter is going to stay in this house for a whole year. So it'll give you plenty of time to meet new people and be a part of new communities and groups and organizations. So the big deal this month is Uranus. Uranus will be leaving Taurus and going into your 10th house of career in the sign of Gemini. Now that is a completely different energy from Uranus in Taurus. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But this is a very interesting month where there's a push and pull energy that's taking place. So this is why I'm saying it can be confusing. It can be a little irritating because of the retrogrades. Retrogrades is like trying to drive a car and you're applying the brakes. That's how it works. And then, going back in time, like I wish I should have done that. I wish I'd have done this, and so on and so forth. That's what retrograde means, just going back, reviewing, revising, revisiting. And so this is the kind of weird energy we have. Of course, we all know that there's a lot of weird energy going on right now. But Venus enters Gemini on the 4th and 5th, right in the 10th house of status and career. So either many of you are focusing your energies on your job, or you're thinking about getting a raise, or maybe you're doing something with your own company. But there's a social aspect to Venus in Gemini. So this is going to help with interacting and communication. So you're going to find yourself throughout this entire month in communication mode because you're ruled by Mercury, the communicator, and now we have Venus in Gemini, which is also influenced by Mercury. Lots of communication, lots of ideas, lots of planning, lots of researching and wanting to exchange with other people. That's what Venus is going to do here in this 10th house. If you're working and you're at a job, there's a good chance that you may get a raise or a promotion. Or maybe you're working with a team of some kind, on a project. This will influence all of that. Okay, so there you have that. Now, here's the first of 3 planets to go retrograde this month. Neptune in Aries, right there. There it is in stationary position. Now, Neptune is confusing enough as it is. It's imagination. It's fantasy prone. In the 8th house, it's like deep psychological change. This is the house of deep psychological, thinking. And so with Neptune going retrograde here, now you're going deep within yourself again and asking the serious questions. What's my purpose? What am I doing? Am I creative enough? You're going to be going into this realm within yourself because the sign is in Aries. Aries is the self. And so this is the beginning of the changes that I'm talking about. Even though you're feeling social and friendly, there is this slowing down of energy in this 8th house. And later on, Saturn is going to go retrograde in this house. So you see what I mean? The deep psychological energy that's coming in. Now let's talk about this giant move. Uranus enters Gemini. Okay, now this is huge because Uranus in Gemini is all about thinking outside of the box. This is unlike Uranus and Taurus, which was about our values, financial matters. Uranus in Gemini is like the rebel that just wants to do its own thing. It wants to speak in its own way, in its own unique way. It does not want to conform in any way. And this is going to increase the mental energy for many of you, especially with Venus in Gemini and now Uranus in Gemini. And it's in the career house. So many of you are going to be questioning, I need to change careers. I need to change positions. I don't want to be doing this anymore. That is a real strong possibility here for many of you. Okay, so there's the general overview. The other thing it could imply, because this is the house of status as well, if you're in a relationship of some kind, whether it's business or personal, and you're questioning, what the hell am I doing here? I need to change. Could be maybe a move. Maybe you're thinking about moving. So Uranus is doing things out of the ordinary. It's rebelling against the routine. It's rebelling against the ordinary. Okay, because you're an earth sign, but you're an adaptable earth sign. Because you're mutable. But now at Uranus in Gemini, it's just like, screw it, I'm going to do something different and unusual, and I don't care what anybody thinks. That's the kind of energy we have coming in. And this Uranus is going to slowly move through this house over the next 7 years. So you're going to see a lot of changes in your status, in your work environment, things pertaining to how people view you. Your goals are going to change, and this is the beginning stages of all that. So keep that in mind as you feel this shift occurring on the 7th and 8th in your mind. Okay? Now, the full moon in Capricorn this month on the 10th is going to highlight the 5th house of love and creativity and children and speculation. And so this is going to be a time where you really look at your loved ones and your projects and the people in your life, and you embrace, how much you care about them. And maybe you're working on a very important creative project that you need to complete. That's very possible here. But it's Capricorn, and Capricorn is a hard-working sign. And so you might find yourself, you know what? I need to go have some more fun. And I would encourage it. Just do little things that make you happy. That's the key here with this full moon in the 5th house. But it's also about realization about your family, realization about loved ones, realization about, your creativity. So you're going to be in this high creative mindset, overthinking mode more than normal because of these two planets up here. And so this is going to amplify that energy, but I would encourage you to do something around this full moon that you enjoy doing. Here is the second planet to go retrograde on the 13th. Now, this is Saturn. Now, Saturn is a different energy from Neptune. Saturn is much heavier. Saturn is very restrictive. Saturn feels like a heavy weight. And when it goes retrograde, we turn within and go, oh, man, I feel so, I can't, I'm not sure. There's this energy that's so heavy now because Saturn is restrictive. And unlike Neptune, which is airy and spiritual and mystical, Saturn is not like that. So this is the energy coming in where you feel so much responsibility and you're not sure what's going on, and there's a deep psychological component here with these energies. So something from the past, situations from the past, ideas from the past, they all start to resurface in a bigger way at this point, especially when on the 18th, Mercury, your ruler, goes retrograde in Leo, right there. So this making the 4th planet to go retrograde, so that we have 3 outer planets and 1 inner planet going retrograde. Now, this is a big deal because it's the 12th house. This is the 12th house of limitations and self-undoing and feeling like you're isolated in some way, you see? And so you've got to see this, just as a time where you're going within to discover new things, to complete new things, to let go of things that no longer work for you. Uranus is helping you with that. Uranus wants you to break free from this thinking, this restrictive thinking that I'm not good enough, or it's not perfect, or nobody cares. That mindset's got to go. And Uranus is going to help you do that. So with all these 4 planets retrograde this month, by the second half of the month, you need to just realize, that you're a spiritual being having these human experiences. And this is a cycle that's sort of cleansing you, that is removing some of the obstacles from your mind. You understand? That's how it's working. Now, the energy starts to shift in more creative manners. With the sun entering Leo, this is a very creative time for you. So you might find yourself wanting to be more creative in many different ways, whether it's turning to spirituality or health or taking care of others or pets. This could be very favorable at this time. The new moon continues to highlight this 12th house, which is the house of spirituality. And so this is the house where you realize who you really are. You're a radiant light, being of light in a physical suit, having an experience. And so this is a very creative time for many of you. Okay, so take advantage of the next 2 weeks of this full moon to do something fun. Remember, Leo also likes to have fun. So this could be a time where maybe you spend time, maybe you do something by yourself that you really enjoy doing. Absolutely embrace that energy. Then lastly, Venus enters Cancer on the 30th and 31st in the 11th house, which has a lot to do with family matters. It has a lot to do with friendships, organizations, groups, and feelings. Cancer is feelings. Jupiter is in Cancer. So you're very sensitive at this point. You've got a lot of emotion. You want to connect with someone. And I totally encourage it. Okay? So maybe a female, a friend, a sister, anything to do with females is highlighted when we have Jupiter and Venus in Cancer. It also is a water sign, so you might find yourself maybe taking more baths or longing for the ocean or the water in some way. So this could be beneficial as well. Anyway, there's the general overview. If you want to know more, I do an extended version of this horoscope in my Inner Circle community. I left a link down below. And as you can see here, I do a lot more than just the horoscopes. I do a weekly astrology overview. I teach astrology there. And of course, we do Zoom calls every Sunday. So you might enjoy that. Anyway, check it out. There's a free 7-day trial, so there's no obligation. I left the link down below. And so I hope to see you in the community. Have a great month. Do the best you can. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.